In this lesson, I will tell you about extrude command of AutoCAD. So you can start extrude command from home tab and modeling panel, and here we have this extrude command. So let's click on this extrude command, and using this extrude command you can add z-axis or the thickness to any 2D geometry. So let's take example of these two geometries. Here we have this rectangle made with the polyline command, and here we have the circle. Right now these two are only 2D geometries made in XY plane. Let's click on this home icon to move to the XYZ axis, and now let's click on this rectangle. Now press enter. So once you press enter, you'll notice that object will start moving in Z axis as well, and you can move it either downwards or upwards, or you can directly enter the height for this in geometry. So let's say that I want to enter a height of 5 units. So type 5 and press enter, and the object has been created in 3D. You can change visual style to see the effect here. So right now this is the object which we have made. Let's press Ctrl Z to return back to wireframe style. You can also use this command with this circle. So let's press Ctrl Z again, and now let's click on this home icon. So here we have this geometry. Let's go to extrude command, and this time select this circle and press enter. And in a similar way which you have used on rectangle, extrude this circle, and here we have it. So in both the cases the geometries are closed and they are a single geometry. But let's see at this geometry. Here we have this geometry made with different lines. Although this geometry is closed, but it's not a single geometry, so you cannot use extrude command for this. So when you click on any single geometry, you'll be able to extrude only that single line or object, and it will make a surface instead of making a solid. So when you hover your cursor over that object, you'll see that this is a surface. But in the second case, when you hover your cursor here, you'll see that this is a 3D solid. So let's now erase these geometries, and now let's see what happens when we use extrude command with different functions. So here we have some of the very random lines here in Z axis, and we have this rectangle here. So let's first start with extrude command, select this, and now click on this object and press enter. So now here we have this normal extrude command, but in this case let's select taper angle from our command line and enter an angle of 10 degrees, press enter. So now you'll notice that when you move your cursor upwards, it will start tapering from the original vertical line. So here the taper angle is 10 degrees with respect to the vertical line, which is Z axis in this case. Now we can enter the height. So let's enter a height of 3 units, press enter, and the geometry has been made with taper. Let's press Ctrl Z to return back. Now let's select extrude command again, click on this rectangle and press enter. Now instead of taper, we can also select a direction in which this extrusion will be made. So let's click on this front view so that you can see it more clearly. So right now it's moving in upward direction. You can select direction of this line for making this extrusion. So obviously for that you need to select direction. Click on direction, and now specify the start point, which is this one in this case, and then the end point. And the object will be made along the direction, and the length will also be equal to the length of direction line which you have specified. Let's press Ctrl Z to return back. Now let's see what other options we have for extrude. So let's select extrude command again, select this geometry and press enter. Now we can specify a certain set of paths for making this extrusion. So here we have an option for path. Let's select this path, and now let's click on this polyline. And when you look at the front view, you'll see that this extrude has been made along the path which we have created. So this is the path which was created with polyline, but this is not a restriction. You can create a path with this spline or other geometries as well. For example, in this case, we have this absolutely random shape created with a spline. Let's see what will happen if we create our extrusion along that path. So let's go to extrude, select this rectangle, press enter, select path from command line and click on this path. Now here we have a very random geometry which has been created along the path which we have selected. So in this way you can create an extrusion along different type of paths as well, but make sure that this path is not too complicated, otherwise your geometry will not be made. And also make sure that the cross section of this rectangle or the base geometry for extrusion is within the limits of this direction or path. In the next lesson, I will tell you about press pull command of AutoCAD.